In the desert city where summer temperatures often exceed 110 degrees, two of boxing's best travel west, hoping to answer two burning questions. Question one, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the best heavyweight of them all? In a division where headlines debate the place in history of an undisputed champion and his ancient opposition. Some might forget the still rising tide of young talent, like smooth Lennox Lewis of England, like hard-punching Michael Moore of the southpaw side, and like tested and tenacious Donovan Razor Ruddick. But the one young lion stirring up the most noise is Riddick Bowe, a fighter who believes it's his time to wear the crown. And should Bowe, as expected, get by his opponent tonight, his next fight will be against Evander Holyfield in the fall. Question two, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best pound-for-pound fighter of them all? Well, it's hard to argue against the undefeated Julio Cesar Chavez, and you can be certain that boxing's newest star sensation, Terry Norris, gets his share of votes. But don't ever count out Norfolk's native son, Pernell Whitaker, testimony that big things in boxing can come in small packages. Tonight, boxing's littlest big man tries for his second title as he attempts to dethrone the 140-pound division's hardest puncher, IBF junior welterweight champ Rafael Pineda. In a moment, the mercury in the desert reaches for another level. From the Mirage in Las Vegas, Nevada, as HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. Tonight, a doubleheader. First, heavyweight contender Riddick Bowe takes on fellow contender Pierre Coetzer in a 12-round championship elimination bout. And then in our main event, Pernell Whitaker looks to add yet another title belt to his dossier as he takes on junior welterweight champion Rafael Pineda. That fight scheduled for 12 rounds. Las Vegas, Nevada, a city that offers a little something for everyone, like this volcano. And tonight in the Grand Ballroom, we'll do the same. If you like them big and tough, then you should enjoy Bowe Coetzer. And if you like lightning quickness, then stick around for Pernell Whitaker. Two of boxing's biggest names under the same roof in Nevada's desert oasis. And hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you back for an evening of twin attractions here on HBO's presentation of World Championship Boxing. Later on, Whitaker trying to add a 140-pound World Championship to the unified lightweight championship he discarded when he moved up 5 pounds in weight. But first, the heavyweight title eliminator. If all goes according to plan, the winner of the upcoming bout between Riddick Bowe and Pierre Coetzer will match against heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield this coming November 13. Here to watch it with us, having flown all the way back from the Running of the Bulls in Pamplona this weekend to be with us, is HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, our first HBO opportunity to look at Riddick Bowe. What do you expect to see from him in a must-win situation?
Well, I think, Jim, this is not only a must-win situation, but it's a good idea to look good situation as well, so that I think that what we're going to get from him at the very least is a sincere effort. Keep in mind that at this stage of a heavyweight challenger's career, jillions of dollars in potential earnings in the future are at stake at virtually every moment of every fight. So it behooves him not only to win, to get that shot at the title, but also to win the attention of the public, to look good, to impress. He has to go into this fight thinking, this is the first fight of the rest of my life. I want to excite people. I want to compel people. I want them to think of me as somebody who's going to have them sit on the edge of their seats for the rest of my career. And he does have in Pierre Coetzer a tough, willing, well-conditioned fighter who should be ideal for him to pull that off. If he doesn't, shame on him.
And, of course, he'll be trying to muscle aside Coetzer under the watchful eyes of another heavyweight who would like a shot at Holyfield or someone for the crown, George Foreman. George, we talk about the desire that Bowe might have for an early knockout. He confirmed yesterday he'd be looking for one. Might that play into Pierre Coetzer's hands?
That may play directly into his hand. Pierre Coetzer probably is the toughest guy in the heavyweight division. Bowe, the man who would be king, but he's up against probably the fight of his life. If it ends quick, fortunate for him, but if not, it can be the roughest night of his whole life.
In fact, you suspect that maybe an upset is in the offing.
I think so. I love Riddick Bowe. I love his family, but this guy, Pierre Coetzer, is not the fellow you want to meet in a dark alley, not even in Los Angeles.
Well, speaking of dark alleys, as a footnote, we should point out that the months leading up to this bout have been marred by the continuing bombast of Bowe's manager, Rock Newman, who suggests that because they are from South Africa, Coetzer and his mates have something to do with apartheid. This was from a New York news conference a couple months ago.
We did not come here for political reasons.
If you would sit down and let me finish.
No,
if you would sit down and let me finish.
You talk about Bowe knocking him out and him knocking Bowe out, but you will not talk like we won't
You know
stay
what?
out.
You might tell the black folks in South Africa what to say and when to say it, but you don't tell me what to say and when to say it. What you need to do is to sit down. That's what you need. I talk about what I want to talk about because at least here, we're free black men as much as we can be. There's Los Angeles, but we're free. You don't tell me what to say and when to say it.
Rock, hold on. I'm not telling you what to say.
I'm ready to continue. I'm ready to continue.
Political.
This isn't a. This
He
you said was
didn't come here. He didn't come here to talk about black and white racism.
Alan,
Forget about
Alan,
it. You don't do that.
Rock. Let him.
You talk about the fight.
I want to continue. You know.
That's what we came here.
You know, he's trying to practice apartheid right now and stop me from saying what I want to say. You can't do that, my man. I'm going to finish.
Hold. That's not fair, Rock.
Bad timing, Larry, in the wake of the abolition of apartheid that we had all hoped and prayed for. To smear Coetzer and his people that way is just totally inappropriate.
I'm not sure what Newman's agenda is on a subject like this, but I think it's necessary to point out that at a time when many or most athletes refused to compete in Africa, he sent an athlete to Africa, a fighter, and took money for it. So I don't quite trust what his motives are here. This is a prize fight. I don't know why he wants to saddle Riddick Bowe with it. It's unnecessary. At one point in time, the athletic community behaved very commendably, turning down a lot of money to go down there. This is not the time to play that hand.
Indeed, Dwight Muhammad Kawi, while fighting for Rock Newman, went to South Africa and took a purse. George, not the kind of thing we like to see in our sport.
No, that apartheid sounds like some kind of pie or something, doesn't it?
A pie which, gratefully, has already been sliced up in South Africa. Well, with all that aside, we get ready now for the real business of tonight's bout. And you look at Riddick Bowe as he prepares to enter the ring, his robe adorned with African liberation colors, and you see the banner behind him. All of this a gesture to, of course, the South African anti-apartheid leader Nelson Mandela, with whom Bowe and his manager Newman have attempted to cultivate a relationship. Riddick Bowe, as you see there, has knocked out 26 of his 30 opponents coming into the bout. The one knock delivered against him by many observers. Sure, he knocked out 26 out of 30 guys, but who were they?
Along in a very careful, studied way. You have to give his management credit, particularly Eddie Futch. Remember that he was downgraded severely after his performance, disappointing performance in the 1988 Olympics. Rock Newman picked him up. Eddie Futch has trained him. He's a much better fighter than anybody thought he would become. They've stayed away from anybody who can punch hard. But meantime, he has defeated everybody in front of him and looks like a serious challenger for Evander Holyfield's title.
And there's the record for Riddick Bowe: 30 wins, 0 losses, 26 knockouts coming in. Yesterday, a bit of a surprise at the weigh-in as Bowe weighed in at an unexpected 245 pounds. We'll take a look at that moment.
245 pounds for Riddick Bowe. 245.
Now, just a few hours before that, Bowe and his handlers had told us that he expected to weigh in around 235. Since that time, many have speculated that, as was the case once before in his career in the first fight with Elijah Tillery, Bowe had taken extra weight onto the scales to attempt to gain some psychological advantage for himself, either in this fight or somewhere down the road. Mystifying, Larry.
Well, I don't know what kind of gamesmanship it is, except that Bowe does have a lively imagination, and perhaps he needs to amuse himself before he gets into the ring.
And there are consecutive wins for heavyweights at the beginning of a career. You see Tyson stalled at 34 when he was beaten by Buster Douglas. Foreman won 40 in a row before the loss to Muhammad Ali in Zaire. Holmes 48 wins in a row before, of course, the loss to Michael Spinks in the first of those two fights. Rocky Marciano, the only heavyweight champion to retire undefeated. And Riddick Bowe down the list and trying to ascend at 30-0. One rap against him, George, is that he's not tremendously well conditioned from time to time. It's worth pointing out that when you were this age, you weighed 217 pounds and were cut up and well muscled.
A lot of punishment, though. I had to go without water and go without things sweet to drink. It wasn't nice.
Rock Newman, Bowe's manager, wearing the dashiki, the African tribal garment.
George, who said it was supposed to be nice?
It is not nice in boxing, I can tell you that. But today, you just don't dry out. You don't make those sacrifices. There's a new day for athletes.
And here's a man who's made sacrifices for 9.5 years as a professional. Among those sacrifices, of course, because of the worldwide resistance to athletes from South Africa during the era of apartheid, Pierre Coetzer had to wait until recent years before he was ever able to fight in the United States, and those fights took place virtually under cover of media darkness in places like Williamson, West Virginia, and Biloxi, Mississippi.
You mentioned that I had come from Spain, where I saw some bullfights, Jim. One of the things that amazed me about the bullfights in Spain, George, is that the newspapers the next day review the bulls almost as seriously as they review the bullfighters, because there's an implicit understanding that without a good bull, a brave bull, you can't have a good prize fight. Well, this guy is a good, brave bull, and we're going to have a fight here tonight, and you think maybe a big upset.
And there's a look at Pierre Coetzer's record: 39 wins, 2 losses. Both losses against Bernard Benton and Asio Ocasio were eventually avenged. Benton by knockout, Ocasio in a 10-round decision just a few months after Evander Holyfield collected his victory over Osvaldo Ocasio. Tail of the tape, these are two big heavyweights, 6'5" and 6'4". You see Bowe's weight of 245. Most ringside observers believe he weighs somewhere closer to 235 and was messing with our minds at the weigh-in. Coetzer is in great shape at 215. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
Here's a profile of how active these fighters are, and as you can see, Bowe is much more the accurate puncher. And these are the jabs they throw. Bowe is a more accurate puncher because he throws many more jabs.
And rules of the bout for our unofficial scorer, Harold Letterman.
Riddick Bowe and Pierre Coetzer will fight tonight using the rules of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. 12 rounds, 3 judges scoring the fight on a 10-point must system, no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect, Jim, and you can be saved by the bell in the last round only. And Jim, in case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 3 rounds have been completed. Before that, it's a technical draw.
Now let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Main Events Monitor Productions and Cedric Kushner Productions, along with the undisputed, undefeated King of Beer, Budweiser, present the first of 2 featured bouts this evening. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Luther Mack, Commissioners Nat Carasali, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Bruce Lane, and Dr. James Nave, Chief Inspector Mark Ratner. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Flip Homansky, Dr. James Wishgame, and Dr. Al Capana. The timekeepers, Jane Broadfoot and Mike Lachella. The scoring for this bout will be done on a 10-point must system, and the 3 judges assigned at ringside are Patricia Jarman, Art Laurie, and Dalby Shirley. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, Nevada's own Mills Lane. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Mirage here in Las Vegas, Nevada, let's get ready to rumble! This is a WBA heavyweight elimination bout scheduled for 12 rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the purple trunks with white trim and weighing in at an even 215 pounds. He brings a professional record of 39 victories with 27 KOs, only 2 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, from Johannesburg, South Africa, the #1 ranked WBA heavyweight contender in the world, Pierre Coetzer. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, his opponent, wearing the black trunks with multicolored trim, weighing 245 pounds, this 1988 Olympic silver medalist has gone on to a perfect record of 30-0, 26 KOs. He's the #2 ranked WBA contender in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Brooklyn, New York's pride and joy, the undefeated Riddick Big Daddy Bowe.
All right, now listen, Eddie, if he goes right there, I'm not going to call it low. Right there, I'm not going to call it low, okay? You've already been through the instructions one time. Pick a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? Any questions here? Let's get it on.
Let's keep in mind that Coetzer can be hit, does bleed. If he gets past a couple of rounds, it could be a long, tough fight.
Round one begins. Riddick Bowe exceptionally relaxed, even playful in the ring in the minutes before the fight. That could be good, George, or it could mean that he hasn't taken the task seriously enough.
I think it's the latter. He's like a little baby. You look in his face and you got to fall in love with Riddick Bowe. But believe me, tonight, he's in against a real fighter.
No love match as Pierre Coetzer comes straight forward, and incidentally, after a pre-fight battle over the question of what kind of gloves would be worn, they eventually settled on the ones that Riddick Bowe favored. Reyes gloves rather than Everlasts. They are known as puncher's gloves. They are particularly devastating against fighters who cut easily, and that is one of Coetzer's weak points.
Hey, don't hit. Come on, come on, come on.
For weeks now, Bowe has been promising that Coetzer would take an early nap.
Get off that neck, Coach. Get off that neck. Come on.
He told us in a meeting yesterday that he trains for 12 rounds, but this is one night when he will definitely be hoping to score an early knockout. If he doesn't get it, how much frustration might ensue?
This isn't the Coetzer I've seen in the past. He starts off normally a little quicker and a little more vicious.
Well, Coetzer may have started cautiously because he knows about the powerful overhand right-hand punching of Riddick Bowe. He may want to feel that blow just a few times, George, to gauge it before he decides how much he wants to rush in.
He's definitely added a little smartness to that toughness he's got.
Left hook by Coetzer, goes to the body with the left. Bowe firing the jab, and there's the overhand right. Just missed.
And I think Coetzer was waiting on that just to taste it a little bit. And here I come.
I think you're right. Now Coetzer knows what he wants to do and begins to press forward. He will make himself a target for Bowe. And those who believe that Bowe is going to score the spectacular knockout point to that as the reason why. Coetzer doesn't have a lot of head movement. He is not a safety first fighter.
This is the most I've seen.
Good straight right hand. Left hook just missed for Bowe. Now the right hand lands. And again, two right hands by Bowe. Coetzer with another left hand, and Bowe lands the right twice more. We've got a first round brawl, and Pierre Coetzer is getting hit too much.
Bowe's got hit in the face with a good left hook that time.
They're both trading shots here, George.
It's not one-sided.
Uppercut for Bowe, left hook for Coetzer. And what a last minute of round one.
Well, I said he was a good bull.
Okay.
Early in the round, Coetzer was measured, good straight right hand. And one of the things we have found out about Coetzer is he can't hurt Bowe. The question is, can Bowe hurt him? Coetzer landed some very solid punches, didn't shake Bowe.
And you saw the calm face of Mills Lane peering into the war there from close range. Round 2 begins. Will they pick up the tempo the way they left off in the last minute of round 1?
I think the pushing and shoving sure favors Bowe because he's weighing so much more than Pierre Coetzer.
It could tire Coetzer out if he has to continually have Bowe leaning on him.
Coetzer is doing something he definitely doesn't like to do. It's move backwards.
Good left by Coetzer. Now Bowe backs up and comes back with a left hook of his own. Left hand shot by Bowe. Wobbled Coetzer. Bowe comes in and tries to throw the right. More pushing and shoving in the center of the ring. Coetzer breaks away with a left and a right. They are landing a lot of punches. These are clean shots.
I'm afraid Bowe just doesn't believe this guy's for real.
Already there's some blood right by the right nostril of Pierre Coetzer. And you saw Alan Tawil, his trainer, looking carefully at the left eye between rounds, waiting to see if any puffiness had developed there. Coetzer has a lot of long fights. He likes to wear opponents down, and there is always blood on the canvas.
And believe me, the fight is going just the way Pierre Coetzer wanted. He's accustomed to going 10, 9 rounds.
He's accustomed to wars. They are not boxing matches. Hard right hand shot by Bowe, and another, and Coetzer's in serious trouble. Now Pierre Coetzer tries to react. Not covering up. Trying to fire back like the warrior that he is. But Bowe's right hand power may yet prove too much for him in these early round skirmishes.
I agree. Too much power in Bowe's right hand. Especially in the early goings. Pierre want to neutralize it. He better go right to the body.
And begin moving side to side, which isn't his game.
Not his game at all.
Long right hand by Coetzer, who appears to think that he may need a knockout to ward off Bowe. See the right hand snapping Coetzer's head around whenever Bowe lands it.
Sometimes when you're in there like that, when a guy hits you, you just don't believe it. Coetzer just don't believe this guy can hit that hard.
Well, in pre-fight news conferences, Coetzer was given to comparing Bowe with Jose Ribalta, a fighter he recently beat. Those who are in love with Bowe would say he's no Jose Ribalta.
Don't let him catch you with those right hands. You let him catch you with those swings, you can see him coming. You must also throw your hands. Here, please. You have to get your right hands going yourself. Listen, Alan, I want that ice pack to snap. Listen here.
Take a look at Bowe.
That right hand hurts.
Now that comes from center field, not left field.
Okay? Don't throw it out there. Wait till you get to the corner. Okay.
Good jab. Doubling up on it, which is rare for the young fighter of Bowe.
Well, I have 2 thoughts after that round. The first is perhaps the most sensational thing that happened was that Bowe split his trunks all the way down in the back. And the second thing is, Bowe has never been in a long, really hard, tough fight. And if he's not in shape, we'll find out. If this guy can last it.
Unless he lands 3 of those right hands in a row, in which case he may give Coetzer the nap he says he would give him. What are we going to say, George?
I think Riddick Bowe, if he can just keep leaning on him with that heavy weight, he can make this fight go the way he wants to, just on his left jab. He's got to stop mixing it up. Pierre Coetzer is tough and mean.
You see the guts of Pierre Coetzer. He has felt that right hand and just keeps coming back. The crowd oohing and eyeing after the uppercut that snapped Coetzer's head back. Every every time Bowe lands the heavy right hand, Coetzer's head bobs around as though he's a rag doll. But every time Pierre straightens up and comes back.
I think thus far Bowe has demonstrated a lot more courage than I had given him credit for. Courage to go with skill.
Well, courage in fighting with those shorts split all the way out down the back.
It's a new style.
If this is a 12-round fight, our audience will see things they've never seen before, even on HBO. An area that Larry Holmes once made reference to.
The thing about a fight, when you train a long time, you get to sparring with too many guys, and you get into the fight and you end up sparring.
Another right hand. And if you wind up with a sparring match here, whom does that favor?
You favor the Pierre Coetzer, because he's doing what he want to do. He just want to go 12 rounds, knock you out maybe in the 10th round or 11th round, but he knows he's not going to get a first, second round knockout. Now Bowe is giving him unnecessary courage that may cost him the rest of the fight.
And Bowe's giving him opportunities that he doesn't have to give him.
And Pierre Coetzer is not a fake. He's real.
They do have diamonds in South Africa.
Well, one problem for Coetzer, guys. The left eye is starting to close up already. Those right hands have done a job on Pierre Coetzer's left eye. Oh, an uppercut that just wailed onto Coetzer's chin. But look at him stand there and take it.
Coetzer starting to jab with the back of his glove. I'm surprised the referee hasn't stopped in to warn him a little bit about that.
Right hand just missed. An oohing and eyeing kind of fight. You see the puffiness and the closing of Pierre Coetzer's left eye. He got some work to do there right now.
Don't let him catch you with uppercuts like that. He's not soft. How are you feeling? Pierre, I want you to throw your right hands now. Follow it with left hooks to the body. Hit him with uppercuts. He's turned to his corner. He's worried. You must hit him with right hands. You must hurt him now. Speed you tap down.
Here's Riddick Bowe, and I guess at this point we have to start asking ourselves, how much power does Bowe have? Because he has hit Coetzer with some murderous punches. Now here's Coetzer later in the round, hanging in there, landing his own right hand. We know Coetzer is not a big puncher.
The left eye is a problem. And right now, Mills Lane is already asking a doctor to take a look. Well, he's satisfied Coetzer can go forward. Yeah, they took off the grease.
Come on, let's go. It's back time.
Now, at what point will it be hard for Coetzer to see the right hand coming, George?
I think that Coetzer's fought under these circumstances so often that it's not going to bother him. It's about Bowe. Can he say, I think the only thing that's going to keep him energized is the closing of that eye. It's going to give him energy round after round.
Look at the left hands by Coetzer. Oh, what a demonstration of will and courage already. I mean, we're only in the 4th round, and this guy is just a masterpiece of fighter's will.
I've said all along, Rock Newman, probably the best guy in the world, but the best manager, he's matching a baby with a little over his head.
So Bowe's going to learn something here, even if he wins the fight.
He's going to learn too much. He's a great guy. Anyone deserves to be champion of the world. He's one of them.
Because of his talent?
Because of his talent and because of his love for mankind. Pierre Coetzer, hey, this guy's a great, wonderful fella. He loves Joe Louis, loves Joe Frazier. He's imitating those guys when he fights.
He wishes.
Not much we have to tell you about this. I mean, it's fairly obvious what's happening here. Two guys trading shots at close range.
Good body punch by Bowe. That hurt Coetzer.
You take him out. Come on, come on.
That would be a new tactic for Bowe to go to the body. Ooh.
fight, you only see them land this many punches in the movies. I rarely have seen two big men like this wail away on each other for this long.
Believe me, you won't see it much more. I think the Bowe's left jab, if he would keep it up, the referee and the judges are going to have to stop this fight on the cut.
Well, this is the kind of fight that everybody wants to see Evander Holyfield have against a real contender. So no matter who wins tonight, you've got to look ahead to November 13 with some excitement.
Now, Bowe ran his first right hand to the chest this time. That could cost Pierre Coetzer later on.
30 seconds to go in round 4. Pierre Coetzer's left eye becoming a bloody mess. It's happened before. It's not the first time in his career. He's fought through it and won many times. But maybe never against a guy as big and quick and talented as Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe get past this fight. Believe me, nothing can stop him from becoming champion of the world.
So you're picking him to beat Holyfield?
No doubt in my mind. I don't pick him to win this fight tonight.
There's another right hand to the chest by Riddick Bowe, and Coetzer heaves aside as he comes back to the corner. And the doctors step into the corner to look at Pierre Coetzer.
Pierre, please, the moment you go back when he boxes, the moment he goes back.
All sides and in the middle. Now I'm saying, take the rest of his standing on weight. Shot his boat already. Just keep that left hand in his face all the time. Keep backing up.
All punches are not bad in the crowd and by the nose. Not bad yet.
Just watch Bowe. He just doesn't know any way to go except forward. Takes a punch right on the nose and forehead. Keeps coming.
Stay in your game plan. Work your thing.
If he had a punch, he'd be dangerous.
Both eyes now cut and bleeding for Pierre Coetzer. Riddick Bowe's landed 49% of 106 jabs so far in the fight. You say it's a devastatingly effective jab, George.
Harold, how quickly, how do you have the fight? So
Larry, 40-36, 4 rounds to nothing. Riddick Bowe winning it on a big right hand. Every time he throws that right hand, I go ouch.
Well, but Coetzer doesn't go out, as far as I can see.
Doesn't go out and doesn't go out.
I gave him the 3rd round, incidentally.
Pierre Coetzer is moving to Bowe's left. It's like I'm inviting you to throw your big left hook.
Maybe because of the punishment he's taken, or maybe because of the problem with eyesight, Coetzer's punch output is beginning to slow down. There's a 3-punch combination, but there have been fewer and fewer of those as the bout has gone on.
Believe me, losing blood anywhere in your body starts to weaken you a little bit, especially when you're in with a big guy like that. But they have the guys trying to trim down and look like weightlifters are gone in boxing. Believe me, it's just not going to get it anymore.
And at this point, every time he separates them, Mills Lane peers into Coetzer's eyes to see how bad it is. Good jab by Coetzer. Bowe responds with his own jab and follows with the right hand, just missing. Now Coetzer with a right hand to the chest.
Coetzer corner should tell him to pour it on now to make the referee and the doctor stop looking at his eyes. Go forward. He's come too far away from home to have this thing stopped on the cut.
That's right. So he needs to create the impression that he's still willing and ready to fight.
That's right. Bowe's a fantastic fighter.
Good uppercut by Bowe. Coetzer just stands there and throws back.
Why hasn't he knocked him out, hitting him so many clean, hard shots, George?
Coetzer, he's on a he's destined to give a good fight. He's representing his country here. There's a new South Africa. He's got to stand up.
I mean, Bowe, why you're saying Coetzer is just that tough?
Yeah, he's got to step tough. He's a He's got a new country to represent. He want to leave a good image for everybody. There's a free South Africa, none South Africa.
And incidentally, as a final postscript on all the apartheid nonsense, you need only spend 5 minutes with Pierre Coetzer and Alan Tawil to recognize that these guys would never have been supporters of that policy.
Not at all. This is a lovely guy who loves everybody. But let me tell you, Riddick Bowe is a damaging hard right-hand puncher.
Oh! And a left. And finally, Coetzer backs up. That was a blistering right-hand, left-hand combination, and Coetzer only barely showed the effects. Pretty amazing.
These claims they don't even have a stool for Bowe in the corner, which is could be a tragedy if he's in a rough fight. The stool is supposed to be there when you get.
But George, you never sit on your stool.
Because I can't get up. You weigh 280 pounds. You don't want to sit down.
Larry, when George sits down, he expects you to put a plate in front of him.
Listen, you must.
Fried chicken livers.
You're ready. You got to keep little punches going. Keep it going back. Keep it going back. And stay close. And look, don't stand up straight after you finish your punch.
There's a left, a right, good punch followed by another left. All hard punches by Riddick Bowe.
And I think if Larry Holmes had that left hook against the champion the other week, he could have won.
One of the things that Bowe said before the fight is that he expects to win by using a muscle that not all fighters use, his head. The muscle that people have questioned him about is his heart, and I think he is answering those questions so far tonight.
He's over here speaking to me, and
he's asking you how he's doing. He's asking you how you think he's doing so far.
I think he's doing a lot better than I expected.
Well, Mills Lane, having already delayed the fight once for a taping of Coetzer's glove, stops it one more time, and they're trying to retape the left glove of Pierre Coetzer. Meanwhile, every time he stands still, the doctors in the corner get a chance to look at his eyes, and that doesn't bode well for him. Lane took another glance.
Pierre Coetzer is not seeing good out of that right eye at all. He's just at the mercy of his skills.
Well, frankly, George, this is a little bit the way you looked toward the end of the Stewart fight, but you don't remember that.
I resent that remark.
And as the eyes close up, Bowe's connect percentage rises. It's like a snowball going downhill. Bowe delivering more and more punishment. Coetzer in more and more trouble as he tries to respond.
Yes, and I want to report from the trunks standpoint, he's showing more and more cheek in this fight.
It is a cheeky effort, no question about it. Oh, what a right hand by Coetzer in close.
There should always be an extra pair of trunks in the house for these big guys.
Well, where would he go to take these off and put those on, though?
Penthouse wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter to Penthouse.
It wouldn't matter to Penthouse. It might matter to HBO. What the heck.
Now Bowe is trying to relax and pace himself and take a break. It's mid-fight. But if you end up giving Pierre Coetzer a little courage, it could be rocky from this point on.
Well, you showed remarkable courage against Alex Stewart. We were all impressed and breathtaken by it. This guy's doing the same thing.
He's got lots of courage, and it's a compliment to his trainers and the people who believed in him.
He's from your fraternity, George.
Give it all you got. Good right hand by Pierre Coetzer.
He's from a couple of them.
Bowe's left jab is working like magic now.
Low blow by Bowe, followed by a right hand to the chin. Tough call for Mills Lane. He was going down from the low blow, and Bowe rocked him with the right hand shot to the side of the head.
Didn't look like a low blow to me. It just took enough.
He's taken a point away from Bowe. Mills Lane has taken a point away from Bowe. That is, he has not scored that as a knockdown.
Well, we'll see on the replay, George. I'm pretty sure it was a low blow, but you may be right.
It definitely was a low blow.
The thing the referee told him to stop. That's what he did wrong.
You think about Evander Holyfield against Kevin Barry in the Olympics in 1984. Harold Letterman.
Bowe just came over to us to say, it was accidental, so he is confirming the fact that it was a low blow.
Jim, the rule in this situation is that Pierre Coetzer has a reasonable amount of time to continue. Otherwise, he loses on a disqualification. Rack Newman challenged a reasonable amount of time. The Nevada State Athletic Commission says 5 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, if Pierre Coetzer cannot continue, he loses the fight on a TKO. You can't win on a low blow.
All right, let's look at the replay now. There's the punch.
Oh, right.
And you could see it was down around Tierra del Fuego. It was a very low blow, and then he followed it with a right hand. And Mills Lane, as usual, has handled the situation with perfect calm and judgment.
So now Coetzer has a reasonable period of time, and he deems himself recovered and goes back to work against Riddick Bowe. The crowd cheers for Mills Lane as well as for Pierre Coetzer.
Coetzer threw a good left hook that time, but it didn't seem to hurt Bowe.
Gentlemen, Pierre Coetzer has never been knocked out. How he is going to make it all the way through this is hard to see for the moment. Maybe as hard to see from our vantage point as it is hard for him to see the punches coming from the gloves of Riddick Bowe. Comes to a close, and once again now Alan Tawil goes to work on Pierre Coetzer while Nevada State Athletic Commission doctors peer in from both sides.
And Mills Lane is informing everybody that he's taken a point away for that low blow.
Listen, please.
Well, the fight is scheduled for 12 rounds as a heavyweight championship eliminator.
Right hands. Please. Don't let him catch you with those right hands. You must speed up your jabs, cross him and hit this guy. Hit him to the body now. Start hurting him downstairs.
Seconds out.
And it should be reported that Riddick Bowe in his corner, his eye was being tended to there. A slight swelling on the left eye.
Riddick Bowe's trainer, incidentally, hasn't gotten a mention so far. Maybe because he's one of the quietest men in the sport. Riddick calls him Papa Smurf, 80-year-old Eddie Futch.
Looking to develop his 18th world champion.
Eddie Futch. What a trainer.
A guy who once sparred with Joe Louis.
And Riddick says that he is intensely aware of his position as potentially the very last heavyweight champion for Eddie Futch. He doesn't want to let him down.
In the same way that Mike Tyson was the last champion developed by Cus D'Amato.
Bowe's got such an excellent left jab. You wonder why he's starting to use it only just now.
Through 31 jabs in round 6, according to PunchStat numbers, George, and landed 20 of them. So he has been accurate with it when he has used it.
He's going to have a rough time, Coetzer, corner convincing the Nevada State doctors that that eye is okay.
Yeah, particularly for 6 more rounds.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to stand for much more of that. This is a real protective state. They really care about the boxer.
It helped you that you were judged to be ahead in the fight at the time that your eyes were in the kind of trouble they were in against Stewart. This guy is clearly losing the fight. That doesn't help him.
My eyes were never cut.
No, they were just swollen. That's right.
They just look like a mass and a mess. Chopped livers.
That's right. You didn't have the eyelid cuts that he has.
No, there weren't any cuts. Just pain.
I must say they look immaculate now, George.
That uppercut has been the most devastating punch of this whole fight by Riddick Bowe.
He'll get a chance to throw that uppercut against Holyfield on November 13.
Let me tell you, Riddick Bowe is on his way to becoming the next heavyweight champ of the world. So if he can get by Pierre Coetzer today. Ooh, a good left hook by Pierre Coetzer. Hurt Bowe. is hurt.
And there's
Bowe is hurt again.
He's holding on.
He is indeed. Wobbling and holding on. Now let's see if Coetzer knows it and can do anything about it.
Bowe is hurt constantly with his left hook.
Well, Coetzer couldn't do anything with it. Bowe's beginning to get his legs back right now.
He's just so big. Bowe is really holding on, though.
He has the biggest body of any of the young heavyweight contenders. Riddick is tall, but not as heavy through the thighs and the belly and the chest as Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe has been hurt, and his corner should let him shout, use your jab, and stay back a little bit.
Oh, uppercut again. Coetzer in serious trouble. Mills Lane one punch away from stopping it, and there it is. End of story. Riddick Bowe has a 7th round technical knockout, which should send him forward toward a heavyweight title matchup with Evander Holyfield. You know, Mills Lane is such a great referee that you can see down to the second when he's going to stop the fight.
Kind of strange. That was a low blow that time, and Coetzer tried to complain about it. So he didn't see that. Maybe it was a turn away from him, but it should have been limped to.
I didn't see that low blow, George. Perhaps our replay will show it.
And now Bowe leans in to congratulate Coetzer, who has been knocked out for the very first time in his career. You could see why. It took a heck of a puncher to do it.
You are a great warrior, Pierre, Coetzer. You are, and sometimes on the street you say you're
And we have replays which are going to confirm, George, your observation that it was a low blow.
There it is. It was a low blow. It definitely was a low blow.
Coetzer tried to complain, and the referee didn't come to his rescue. And it's been happening all night, and I don't like it.
Mills Lane was behind Bowe. Bowe's big body apparently shielded him from seeing exactly where that punch landed. But you're right, it was below the belt. Not as far as Tierra del Fuego, but Mexico City anyway.
And it's been happening all night. He should have been protected a little bit more from that. Not to say he could have won this fight, but he wasn't attended to properly.
And now you can see Mills is looking and thinking, well, if he doesn't respond in 2 more punches, and there it was.
There you can see the uppercut that didn't get as far as the cut, just the upper.
And Riddick Bowe has been doing that all night. Go down to the booty and then back up to the head.
Under the circumstances, and despite the unfortunate failure to observe the low blow, a good and necessary stoppage. Harold Letterman?
Jim, let me tell you something. It's protect yourself at all times. If you get hit low and you turn away, the other guy got every right to jump on you and whack you. I mean, hey, the referee just can't stop you. In the rules of boxing, it's protect yourself at all times. That's what the referee tells you when he brings you into the middle of the ring before the first round.
I want all the young boys at home to understand there's something called, it's not winning, but how you play the game.
Sportsmanship. So you're saying that the sportsmanlike thing for Riddick Bowe to have done would have been to step away.
Step away when
allow Mills Lane to know that the man had been troubled by a low blow?
That's right.
George, you are an idealist.
This is the day of compassion. You can win without that.
Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mills Lane has to call a halt to this bout. The official time, 2 minutes 59 seconds of round number 7. The winner by TKO victory, now moving up for the #1 contendership in the WBA, Brooklyn's pride and joy, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. A bit of round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for a very game gentleman from Johannesburg, Pierre Coetzer.
Final punch stat numbers show the devastating job that Riddick Bowe did. 243 almost all power punches in 6+ rounds against Coetzer, whose connect rate went down as the fight went on. And now Larry Merchant stands by. Now Larry Merchant stands by with the man who now expects to challenge Evander Holyfield for the heavyweight championship November 13. Larry?
All right, Riddick, maybe you became a man in there. This guy's as tough as anybody you fought, wasn't he?
You tell him.
Huh?
I mean, yes, he was extremely strong, but he wasn't as crafty as some of the other guys I fought. So I was able to hit him with a lot of different shots, and I realized at some point, or some spots in the fight, I was waiting a while, but, you know, I'll go back to the gym and work on that because I know Evander Holyfield is going to try to capitalize off of that, and so I got to have a surprise for him.
What bothered you so much about him? You hit him a tremendous number of free, hard shots, and yet he was still there.
Oh, the guy was durable. You can't take nothing away from him. He takes a hell of a shot, and as his promoter manager said, Pierre is underrated.
What did you learn from this fight going into a heavyweight championship fight?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, fighting a guy like Tony Tubbs, Pierre really couldn't teach me nothing, but I needed the rounds, and that's what I got from him.
So this tested your stamina and what else? Your will? Let's take a look at the low punch. Meanwhile,
those who talk about me having heart after hitting Pierre like I did and he wouldn't fall, I think that goes to show you that, you know, I'm very game.
We're saying that that was a low blow at the end of the fight. Did you see that blow?
No, I really didn't.
Now, earlier, on the earlier low blow, you came over to us at ringside and said it was an accidental low blow.
It was, and I apologized to Pierre for it, and I bowed to the crowd, indicating that I was sorry. But Pierre's a game fighter, and I would like to say happy birthday to my son, JR, who's back home. Hi, Jay. Hi, Junior.
Talk to us about Holyfield. Give us your impression of Holyfield, your feeling about having earned a shot at the heavyweight championship next November.
Well, Evander is somewhat the same type of fighter Pierre is, but he's more busier and he's a much more craftier fighter. So that's why the first chance I get, I'm gonna get back in the gym and start working extremely hard.
So even though you are a very big man and everybody has been saying that Evander Holyfield isn't a genuine heavyweight champion, including yourself, I should add.
I know what you're about to say, but I still don't believe he takes a punch as well as Pierre Coetzer.
You don't? Well, I guess we're going to find out in November. Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Nelson Mandela.
Back to ringside. Jim?
And that was a birthday wish for Nelson Mandela, but still coming up here at the Mirage is the Junior Welterweight Championship bout between champion Rafael Pineda, recognized by the IBF, Pernell Whitaker, who gave up his undisputed World Lightweight Championship to move up 5 pounds, looking for this title shot. Now we're going to go back into the ring where Larry Merchant stands by to talk to the defeated Pierre Coetzer.
All right, Pierre, that was a very, very hard fight. You took a lot of punches. Give us your impression of Riddick Bowe as he goes toward a shot at the heavyweight title.
Riddick Bowe is a very good fighter. You can't take away that from him. And I think he's got a very good chance against Evander Holyfield.
Was the low blow that led to the end of the fight as bad as the previous low blow? Were you about to complain to the referee again?
Yes, he caught me in the first. He caught me with a low blow, the first one. He caught me on the ear, and I can't still hear nothing. And the second time he caught me again low. And I still wanted to explain to the referee.
Do you think the fact that you were cut and bleeding led the referee to say, well, it's enough, you've been game, but you've taken enough punishment?
Well, I don't know. I was asked back to the referee.
Thank you for giving us a heck of a fight, Pierre Coetzer, and we want to see you again sometime. Okay, Jim.
Thanks very much, Larry. Question 1. Did Coetzer give enough of a good account of himself to remain a piece of the heavyweight puzzle for the next couple of years?
There's no doubt in my mind. He may have got a little shocked by being in this crowd, but let me tell you, Riddick Bowe is the man. I believe he can beat Evander Holyfield anytime, any place.
All right, they'll fight November 13 if all goes according to plan. In terms of styles and strategy, what do you expect to see between Bowe and Holyfield?
Riddick Bowe has got a left jab that reaches across the street. He put this thing on Evander Holyfield. There's nothing Evander Holyfield can do about it, but take it.
So if Holyfield were ever able to get inside the jab, though, and come to the body, can Bowe take that and turn it back away with the right hand?
Riddick Bowe has got too much uppercut under there. That's the kind of punching you don't want to get underneath. for no reason. This guy's got stamina now, so he is the new king of the heavyweights as far as I'm concerned.
He's the guy who's big enough to make Holyfield look like a little man in there.
And then win this fight for the title.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing that. So the business of the heavyweights is done, and now let's turn our attention back to the ring where Larry Merchant is standing by with Mills Lane.
Just briefly, Mills, you took a point away from Riddick Bowe earlier in the fight for a low blow followed by a right hand, correct?
Right.
Had you warned him at that point?
I'd warned him twice. I said 2 hard warnings, the next time it's going to cost you. I had warned him twice.
Now, possibly you were shielded from Coetzer at the end because the knockout or the stoppage was followed by another low blow. Did you see the low blow right there?
I saw the low blow, but that's not what hurt him. He got hurt. That's the punch that did him. The left uppercut, and then that shot, and that shot. The low blow didn't hurt him. He got hit underneath, and then he got hit on top again, and that was it. And then he gets hit again.
And the fact that he had taken a lot of punishment and he was bleeding severely, did that enter into your decision?
Well, the cuts were superficial. They weren't bad, but he was fading and Bowe was coming on, and he got nailed bad, and he just seemed to lose it.
Thank you very much, Mills. All right, Jim and George.
All right, Larry, and Mills is defending himself there a little bit, George. He wants us to believe that the low blow didn't hurt Coetzer. You're shaking your head down here.
Well, look, when the police stop me and try to give me a ticket, I always say, hey, I don't believe I was speeding anyway. But if he had seen that shot below, he should have stopped action right then. This was an important fight for Pierre Coetzer. It was an important fight for Bowe. Bowe could have won without that.
And you say that if Bowe had been aware that he hit him with the low blow,
he should have stopped himself. If the guy was complaining, look, it's not about winning all the time. It's about showing sportsmanship. I'll go to my grave believing that it's up to the boxers to protect one another. In the end, we all sometimes have to walk on our heels and then walk around with crooked noses. We've got to start to protect one another a little better than that.
I think you probably just made
we got to eat more.
You probably made another million friends, and you're desperately in need of friends. I know you've only got about 250 million of them.
Well, you try to tell the truth, and that's what sportsmen's about. It's not about winning the money. It's about winning friends.
Terrific stuff. So the business of the heavyweights is now completely concluded. We got another great fight to watch.
I can't wait for this one.
All right, upcoming, the junior welterweight championship fight between Pernell Whitaker and this man, champion Rafael Pineda.